Once James cradles his newborn son, he realizes how tiny the boy is. Yet, this doesn't hinder him from being a great dad. As the years pass, Pepper, his son, grows up, seeing James as his best buddy. They spend loads of time together, sharing common interests, much to Emma's belief that they goof off too much. Meanwhile, James's other son, London, dedicates most of his time to training, aiming to join the army. Sadly, he doesn't make it, leaving him heartbroken. At a store, James eyes a pair of boots but postpones buying them due to financial constraints. Back home, they find London disheartened, explaining his rejection to James. During dinner, London struggles to eat, eventually leaving the table. Pepper senses the tension, realizing James might have to enlist as a volunteer for the war against Japan. This news distresses Pepper, and he bursts into tears at the thought of his dad leaving. The next day, James bids farewell to his family, reassuring London it's not his fault. He shares a tender moment with Pepper, who trails him to the truck bound for the army base. James embraces his son once more before boarding, heading off to war. Some time passes, and Emma takes Pepper to see a doctor named Fox, who's trying to figure out why Pepper hasn't grown taller. Pepper wonders if he's a dwarf, but Fox reassures him not to think about labels like that. Emma then tells Fox that Freddie, his son, insulted Pepper. Though Fox promises to talk to Freddie, Pepper worries it will only make things worse. During the conversation, Fox asks when James will return. Emma and Pepper say he should be back by summer, but Fox doesn't seem happy. It turns out, he's interested in taking James's place as Emma's husband because he's developed feelings for her. And since summer is approaching, Pepper convinces his brother to lend him some money. With it, he buys James his favorite boots as a gift for his return and tickets to a magic show for them to enjoy together. Meanwhile, a U.S. Army officer arrives at James's house to tell Emma he's been captured by enemy soldiers, unsure if he's alive. Emma is devastated by the news and informs London. On his way home, Pepper gets bullied by Freddie for telling on him. Freddie even throws around the boots Pepper bought for James. Eventually, Pepper is allowed to leave. When he gets home, he finds Emma and London upset. After learning the truth, Emma hugs him. Days pass, and Pepper feels really down, spending most of his time alone, especially since the magic show he planned with James is happening soon. Emma asks London to take him instead. He agrees, but finds the show boring and leaves early. The magician Ben steps onto the stage and asks for someone to help with a magic trick. Even though he doesn't volunteer, Pepper is picked. Ben then says Pepper will do the trick instead. Pepper's unsure because he thinks people will laugh at him, and Freddie jokes about how he thinks Pepper will mess up the trick. But Ben tells Pepper to ignore them. After pretending to cast a spell on him, Ben tells Pepper to move a bottle across the table. Though Pepper doubts himself, Ben cheers him on, and eventually, he succeeds, shocking everyone. The next day, at church with Emma and London, Pepper hears the priest, Kristen, talk about having faith like a mustard seed to move mountains. He thinks if they can do that, they can end the war. Taking it literally, Pepper goes to buy a mustard seed. On the way, he meets a Japanese man named Hashimoto. He tells London and Sam about him, and they rush to the store to stop Hashimoto from buying anything because their countries are at war. But the priest, Father Oliver, arrives and says Hashimoto is with him, so they let him shop. Later, Sam confesses he hates Japanese people because they killed his son in the war. Saddened, Pepper wishes he could fight every Japanese person he sees. That evening, London brings Pepper to Hashimoto's place, and together they throw rocks at the house until one shatters a window on the door. Unfortunately, London lands in jail as punishment, while Pepper is only sent to church to seek forgiveness. After sorting things out at the church, Pepper heads to Crispin and Oliver to announce he's done. He then questions Crispin about moving mountains with a mustard seed, showing him he's got one now. But Crispin explains it's not literal, it's about faith. Pepper wonders if he needs some special magic like Ben's, but Crispin clarifies it's just about believing. Despite the explanation, Pepper's still confused, so Oliver steps in. He challenges Pepper to move a bottle on the table with his power, but Pepper fails. Oliver removes it himself, explaining that it's how faith works. Even though Pepper didn't do anything, the bottle moved. He adds that anything's possible with God's will. As Pepper persists on faith, Oliver brings out a task list, urging him to complete them to strengthen his faith. He adds one more task, to befriend Hashimoto, which Pepper dislikes. However, he agrees if it means his dad will come back. Oliver mentions that James might return if it's meant to be, prompting Pepper to vow to complete the list to bring his father back. Starting with the list, Pepper visits Hashimoto to apologize, but Hashimoto seems uninterested. Pepper shares this with Oliver, who suggests giving Hashimoto a gift. The following day, Pepper purchases a soda and offers it to Hashimoto, who throws it away. Repeatedly mentioning this to Oliver, the priest suggests Pepper should spend time with Hashimoto. Heading to Hashimoto's place, Pepper finds out that Oliver has contacted him, leading Hashimoto to agree to hang out. They go to a store to buy ice cream, but only Pepper is allowed to purchase. Yet, once outside, Hashimoto takes it from Pepper, claiming he hasn't had ice cream in ages. Pepper then wonders if he can mark Hashimoto off his list, surprising him as Oliver gave the list to Pepper to bring his father back. During their time together, Hashimoto warns Oliver against giving Pepper the list, fearing it might disturb him mentally. However, Oliver believes it's God's plan for James to return. Hashimoto expresses concern that Oliver's plan might affect Pepper negatively. The subsequent day, Oliver urgently leaves town, but Pepper catches up with him before his departure. Despite claiming to have crossed Hashimoto off the list, Oliver advises Pepper to keep being friends with him until there's no animosity. He promises to assist Pepper with the list upon his return. Pepper informs London about his efforts to bring James back, but London disapproves of befriending Hashimoto upon seeing the list. As Pepper leaves, Freddy tries to intimidate him, but Hashimoto intervenes, helping Pepper escape. Returning home, Pepper finds Emma in tears, prompting him to visit Hashimoto's house. The following day, he asks Hashimoto for help with the list, and he agrees. Together, they accomplish tasks like visiting the sick, sheltering the homeless, and providing clothes for a baby. Fox brings Freddy to Emma's house to express sympathy over James' situation. Afterward, he persuades Emma to invite him for dinner, much to Pepper's dismay. Additionally, Fox arranges for London's release, thanking the doctor, although he admits doing it for Emma's sake. Soon after, Freddy asks to leave, then heads to Pepper's room. Pepper spots him and wants to confront him, but Freddy grabs his list and threatens him with violence. Later, Pepper shares this with Hashimoto. Hashimoto advises him to retrieve the list, inspiring Pepper with a tale of a small soldier overcoming a powerful samurai. Encouraged, Pepper faces Freddy, who tears up the list and pushes Pepper down. Enraged, Pepper retaliates, shocking everyone. The following day, Pepper reviews his remaining tasks. Emma suggests inviting a friend for lunch to fulfill the task of feeding the hungry. Pepper brings Hashimoto home, confusing Emma. Despite this, Pepper insists Hashimoto is his friend. Emma welcomes him, and they discuss Hashimoto's family over lunch. London arrives, startled to see Hashimoto. He grabs a gun, threatening him, but Emma intervenes, allowing Hashimoto to leave. Pepper follows him out, but London and Sam soon return to harass him. Pepper attempts to reason with London, but his brother insists he must stop associating with Hashimoto to bring their dad back. London suggests the list's effectiveness is dubious, but Pepper asserts his faith can move mountains. London challenges him to move a nearby mountain, but Hashimoto warns against it, sensing London's intent to humiliate. Undeterred, Pepper insists he can. Struggling like he did with the bottle, an earthquake occurs, leading everyone to believe Pepper caused it. Oliver also comes back and hears about it. Meanwhile, Pepper finds a letter from the White House stating that soldiers will return home when the war ends. He meets Hashimoto to ask about Japan's location and learns it's towards the sun. Pepper decides to try ending the war somehow. Hashimoto warns him that completing tasks may not bring James back. Pepper wonders if he should stop, but Hashimoto advises him to do sensible things. Still, Pepper persists in trying to use his perceived power to end the war by facing the sun every day, attracting attention from the town. Days later, while riding his bike, Pepper is stopped by people who inform him that his efforts have had an impact. The US Army dropped a bomb on Japan, gaining control and potentially ending the war. Pepper feels glad, but Emma warns him of potential consequences for American hostages. Later that night, London and Sam go to Hashimoto's place seeking revenge for Sam's son and others lost in the war. After Sam severely injures Hashimoto, London, feeling remorse, takes him to the hospital, risking arrest. Pepper and Emma visit the hospital, learning Hashimoto's condition is worsening. As Pepper reviews his list, he sees a task to bury the dead, terrifying him. Seeing Hashimoto unconscious, Pepper realizes he might have to bury either his dad or his new friend. Some time later, a soldier from the US Army visits Emma's home to deliver news about James. He informs her that reports from Japan claim James has passed away. Emma is devastated by this news, and London is also deeply affected. Pepper is overcome with grief as well, needing Emma's comfort at James' funeral. The following day, Hashimoto seems to have recovered and consoles Pepper while he sits alone. Pepper expresses disbelief that he thought the list could bring back his father. Hashimoto reassures him, saying it showed his love for James, and his willingness to do anything to bring him back. Pepper then places the list on James' tombstone. Emma takes Pepper to see Fox the next day regarding his height issue. Fox offers some theories and suggests visiting their home later to discuss further. However, Emma, though appreciative, mentions she won't consider marrying anyone else after James. Though disappointed, Fox accepts her decision. Days pass, and another soldier arrives, informing Emma that James is actually alive. He explains that although James was shot during a military operation, someone else wearing his stolen boots was mistaken for him. Emma and London are relieved, and they inform Pepper that his list worked. They prepare to visit James at the hospital where he's being treated for war trauma. Pepper notices London's gesture of getting new boots for their father and thanks him. Later, they arrive at the hospital where James eagerly awaits them. They share emotional reunions, and James eventually recovers and returns home with his family. Turn on alerts, like, and subscribe for more videos similar to this one. Thank you for watching.